All right, what's up, my friend? Tell me, have you ever been in the awkward situation of not understanding a different accent in English? Like the person is talking and you're just lost, feeling totally clueless. Believe me, you're not alone. And even worse, did you know that this difficulty could be sabotaging your opportunities and preventing you from achieving fluency? It's your self-confidence going down the drain, job opportunities, and even friendships slipping away. But hey, don't worry, not all is lost. In this video, I'm going to show you another secret to finally unlock your understanding and boost your English even more. Want to find out how? Subscribe to the channel now and hit the bell so you don't miss any of the Learn English secrets that will transform your English journey. And get ready to unlock your mind and turbocharge your English once and for all. So let's go! Encounter with accents. Today, we're going to embark on a sonic adventure in the world of English. You know, one of the most fascinating, and let's be honest, sometimes a bit scary, things when we learn a new language is encountering different accents. It's like discovering that English isn't a single creature, but a chameleon that changes color depending on where it is. Has it ever happened to you that you freeze completely when trying to understand someone with an accent very different from what you're used to? I confess it's happened to me. I remember once trying to understand a Scotsman, and at the end of the conversation, the only thing I understood was that I hadn't understood anything. That experience showed me how an accent can be an unexpected barrier. We study, learn grammar rules, vocabulary, but then comes the time to put it into practice and we freeze. And the worst part is that often we don't even realize how much we're influenced by unconscious biases regarding accents. We judge without meaning to, missing out on the richness and beauty of linguistic diversity. It's crucial to keep an open mind and challenge yourself to understand each variation. Each accent carries with it a history, a culture, a unique way of seeing the world. And when we allow ourselves to dive into this diversity, communication becomes much more interesting and enriching. Now, let's be realistic. Difficulty in understanding an accent can have a direct impact on our daily interactions. Whether at work, on trips, or even watching a movie, lack of familiarity with a particular accent can cause frustration and insecurity. Ever felt that pit in your stomach when you realize you're not understanding anything the person is saying? It's a horrible feeling. But the good news is that this barrier can be turned into a bridge. With practice and dedication, we can adapt our listening and become true experts in deciphering accents. And don't feel bad if sometimes insecurity knocks on your door. It's normal to feel a bit lost when faced with a new accent. Self-confidence can be shaken, performance can drop, but the important thing is to recognize this difficulty and not let it get you down. Use this insecurity as fuel to challenge yourself and learn even more. So now let's open up to understand that encountering different accents is challenging, yes, but also incredibly enriching. And of course, let's analyze the specific difficulties that each of us faces in this process. Accent challenges. The first thing you need to know is that dealing with the novelty of a different accent takes time and attention. It's like meeting a new person. At first, everything seems strange, but over time, you get used to their way, their quirks, and how they express themselves. The same thing happens with accents. In the beginning, the sound may seem confusing, the words may mix, but with practice, you'll internalize the patterns and become more familiar with that way of speaking. The unexpected can turn a simple conversation into an intriguing challenge for the listener. But don't be intimidated. See it as an opportunity to expand your horizons and improve your communication skills. And speaking of challenges, the sound diversity among accents can cause some interruptions in communication. Those famous barriers of understanding that make us ask the person to repeat, speak slower, or even spell the words. They're small obstacles, yes, but they can be easily overcome with constant exposure to the language. The more you listen to different accents, the easier it becomes to identify the patterns and nuances of each one. It's like learning to differentiate the flavors of a wine. At first, everything seems the same, but with practice, you'll refine your palate and become able to identify the subtleties of each vintage. Now, let's talk about a feeling that's very common among English learners: anxiety. Encountering accents very different from what we're used to can cause some nervousness, especially when we need to communicate in important situations. The pressure to understand and be understood can be great, and this ends up making us tense and insecure. But hey, take a deep breath and don't despair. Over time, this anxiety can be transformed into motivation to improve listening comprehension. See each conversation as a workout, an opportunity to challenge yourself and overcome your own limits. And speaking of training, it's important to remember that our brain is an amazing machine, capable of adapting to any situation. With repetition and practice, it gradually adjusts to the new sounds and rhythms, opening the doors of familiarity. Starting this process may seem difficult, but it's a journey that rewards with noticeable progress. With each passing day, you'll feel more confident and secure in dealing with different accents. That pit in your stomach will decrease, comprehension will become easier, and communication will flow more naturally. Oh, and since we're talking about the challenges of accents, I want to know, what was the most difficult accent you've ever tried to understand? Tell me in the comments. I want to know what your linguistic boogeyman is. Recognizing these challenges is essential for learning how to deal with them effectively. And that's why in the next topic, we'll give you some practical tips for training your ear and preparing to face any accent, no matter how difficult it is.
Training tips. All right, let's learn how to train your ears to unravel any accent. The first tip is the most obvious, but also the most important. Gradual exposure to the language. You know that Scottish series you've always wanted to watch? Or that Irish movie that's been on your list for months? It's time to hit play. Listening to authentic material produced by natives and for natives is one of the most effective ways to become familiar with the different accents of English. This daily practice helps to internalize the sounds and rhythms specific to each accent, making your understanding much more intuitive and natural. Start with simpler materials like podcasts or short videos, and gradually increase the complexity. Don't worry if you don't understand everything at first. The important thing is to get used to the sound and melody of the language. Another very important tip: constant practice. It's no use listening to an English podcast once a week and thinking you're going to become an expert in accents. Consistency is essential for success. Dedicate at least 30 minutes daily to listening to different accents. It can be while you're cooking, driving, or even before bed. The important thing is to create a routine of exposure to the language. Over time, you'll notice that the difficulty decreases and comprehension increases. Persistence is the key to transforming difficulty into naturalness. And speaking of naturalness, how about paying attention to your own pronunciation? Focusing on active listening, comparing your accent with the accent of natives can help you improve your own accent. Record your voice saying some phrases in English and compare it with the pronunciation of a native. Where do you think you need to improve? What sounds do you need to refine? This constant self-assessment is an important step in linguistic development. Besides helping you better understand other accents, it will also make you a more confident and secure English speaker. And to put all this into practice, how about simulating some dialogue situations? Recreating conversations with friends or in study groups can give you more confidence when interacting with natives. Choose a topic, define the roles, and start practicing. Use and abuse your creativity. Imitate the accents. Use the slang and idioms you've learned. These simulations help reduce stress and improve your ability to adapt. The more you practice, the more natural your communication becomes. So, ready to put these tips into practice? Remember, the secret is constant exposure to the language, daily practice, and constant self-assessment. With dedication and persistence, you'll become a true master of accents. Oh, and since you're there, take the opportunity and tell me in the comments, what was the last word in English you tried to imitate? I want to know how you're doing in this process. Let's exchange some tips. By seeking to train your ears constantly, you prepare to simplify communication, facilitating the way to express yourself and connect with people from different cultures and accents. Simplicity in communication. Have you ever stopped to think that sometimes the solution to understanding a complicated accent can be simplifying communication? That's right. Instead of trying to use super elaborate sentences full of difficult words, how about betting on simplicity? Using short sentences of 3 to 4 words can be extremely effective in everyday situations. This technique simplifies the message without losing the fundamental meaning. You know, when you're in a foreign country and need to ask for information, instead of asking, "Could you please tell me how to get to the nearest subway station?" how about simply saying, "Subway station, please?" It may seem obvious, but this direct and objective approach can make all the difference when communicating with someone who doesn't speak English fluently. Short sentences help reduce misunderstandings with interlocutors of basic vocabulary. This practice is especially useful in quick service and interactions. Imagine you're working in a hotel and need to give information to a foreign guest. Instead of using complex sentences, bet on simplicity. Room number, checkout time, breakfast included? Surely communication will be much more efficient. And don't think that simplicity is synonymous with lack of intelligence or knowledge. On the contrary, observing leaders who use simple communication motivates and inspires to adopt this strategy. This finding reinforces the idea that the essential thing is to pass the message with clarity. Great leaders like Steve Jobs and Barack Obama are masters in the art of simplifying the message. They use short sentences, easy words, and practical examples to connect with the audience and convey their ideas clearly and impactfully. Simplicity in speech helps avoid common and/or confusing errors in more complex conversations. When the message is direct, understanding is faster and more efficient. This is especially important in stressful situations such as work meetings or public presentations. The simpler you speak, the less chance of making grammatical or pronunciation errors. In addition, simplicity helps you stay calm and focus on what really matters, conveying your message clearly and effectively. And don't forget, with simple communication, it becomes natural to advance to understanding different levels of vocabulary, thus sharpening your repertoire. The more you practice simplicity, the easier it becomes to expand your vocabulary and communicate in an increasingly complete and efficient way.
So, ready to simplify your communication? Remember, less is more. Bet on short sentences, easy words, and direct and objective communication. Surely you'll be surprised with the results.
Vocabulary levels. You know, mastering the right vocabulary is like having the right tools to build a house. If you only have a hammer, the house will be very simple, right? But if you have all the tools, you can build a mansion. Understanding the first 1,000 terms is like having the foundation of the house. By mastering the basic words, you can communicate in a basic and objective way. This foundation is essential to build any conversation structure. With these first 1,000 words, you can introduce yourself, ask for information, shop, and get by in simple day-to-day situations. It's enough not to go hungry and not get lost on the street. Now, if you want to go further and start having more interesting conversations, you need to evolve to 2,000 words. With more terms, the conversation flows around everyday subjects, making the dialogue more natural. This progression considerably expands the range of topics. With 2,000 words, you can already talk about your hobbies, your favorite movies, your plans for the future, and even give your opinion on some subjects. It's as if you had built the walls and the roof of the house. It's already possible to live in. But hey, don't be scared by these numbers. The important thing is to understand that vocabulary learning is a gradual and continuous process. Nobody learns 3,000 words overnight. The important thing is to learn little by little, consistently and enjoyably. And how to know what your vocabulary level is? Simple. Take a test. There are several online tools that can help you identify how many words you know in English. This identification of gaps is crucial for continuous learning. This perception helps to direct the study to areas of greatest need. After taking the test, analyze the results and see which areas you need to reinforce. If you're having difficulties with verbs, for example, focus on learning new verbs and practicing conjugation. If the problem is adjectives, dedicate time to learning new adjectives and using them in sentences. Remember, the important thing is not to be discouraged. Vocabulary learning is a marathon, not a 100-meter race. The important thing is to keep the pace, be persistent, and not give up on your goals. Now we're getting close to the end, but before continuing, I'm sure this content has helped you and is so good that it deserves at least a like, doesn't it? So, if you liked it and felt you learned something here, give that like to help us continue bringing incredible tips for you. Understanding the levels of vocabulary paves the way to apply knowledge in real situations, enriching the communicative experience. So, ready to expand your vocabulary and become an increasingly complete and confident English speaker?
Application in real life. You know what? It's in practice that the magic happens. Applying what you learn in English in the real world is like giving a super boost to your learning. Have you ever stopped to think how amazing it would be to use the English you've been studying to get by on a trip, make friends from other countries, or even get that promotion at work? Well, my friend, English isn't just a subject in school. It's a powerful tool that opens a world of opportunities for you. And look how cool! One of the best ways to put English into practice is by talking to tourists. Yes, those visitors who arrive full of questions and curiosities. You know why? Because they're usually open to simpler and more direct conversations, which is perfect for those who are starting to loosen up in the language. Plus, each interaction is a chance to learn something new about other cultures and practice listening, since you'll come across different accents and ways of speaking. It's a great experience, you know? And don't be afraid of making mistakes, you know? Remember that everyone makes mistakes, even native speakers. The important thing is to jump in, try to communicate, and don't be ashamed to ask them to repeat or speak slower. Over time, you'll see that practice makes perfect, and that each conversation makes you more confident and fluent. A golden tip is to use short and objective sentences. You know, those 3 or 4 word sentences we talked about? They're super effective for communicating in everyday situations, like asking for information on the street, placing an order in a restaurant, or even having a quick chat with someone. Simplifying the message helps you avoid misunderstandings and feel more secure when speaking. And don't forget to adapt your language to the listener's level. If you realize that the person doesn't speak English very well, use simpler words and avoid slang or very complex expressions. The important thing is to ensure that the message is clear and understandable to both sides. And look how cool! Each successful interaction increases your confidence and motivates you to continue learning and practicing. It's as if each conversation was a trophy, showing you that you're on the right track and that your effort is worth it. And it doesn't stop there. By applying English in real life, you start to realize what your greatest needs and difficulties are. Maybe you need to improve your vocabulary in specific areas, such as business or tourism, or maybe you need to practice your pronunciation more to make yourself better understood. And then, based on these needs, you can look for courses and study materials that fit your profile and help you achieve your goals. And look how cool! The more you use English in your daily life, the more natural and automatic it becomes. You start to think in English, dream in English, and feel more and more comfortable and confident to communicate in any situation. It's as if the language became part of you, opening doors and connecting you with the world in an incredible way. So, my friend, don't be afraid to jump in and put your English into practice. Talk to tourists, participate in conversation groups, watch movies and series in English, read books and articles. Anyway, make learning the language a constant and enjoyable adventure. With dedication and persistence, you'll see that English can take you much further than you imagine.
Choosing educational institutions. Choosing an educational institution is a crucial step for those seeking to improve their English effectively and purposefully. After all, a good course can make all the difference in your learning, providing you with the tools and support needed to achieve your goals. But how to know which school is ideal for you? Relax, my friend. I'll give you some valuable tips. First of all, it's essential that you test your vocabulary before and after starting a course. This helps you measure your progress and identify the areas where you need to dedicate more. There are several online tools that can assist you in this task, such as placement tests and vocabulary apps. Thus, you'll have a clear view of your starting point and can track your evolution over time. And don't forget to monitor your enjoyment of studying. After all, learning English doesn't have to be a boring and dull obligation. If you feel motivated and engaged with the content, learning becomes much easier and more enjoyable. Therefore, look for courses that use innovative methods and provide you with fun and challenging experiences. A good tip is to look for schools that offer interactive online classes, extracurricular activities, and personalized study materials. Thus, you'll have the opportunity to learn English in a dynamic and engaging way without falling into routine. And be sure to analyze your personal progress at regular intervals. Check your improvements in grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and listening comprehension. If you notice that you're evolving in all areas, it's a sign that you're on the right track. But if you notice that some area is stagnant, don't be discouraged. Look for specific activities and exercises to improve that skill. The important thing is to maintain consistency and discipline without losing focus on your goals.
And don't forget to investigate the quality of education of the institution. Look for schools that have qualified and experienced teachers who use effective teaching methods and offer good support to students. A good tip is to talk to former students and research about the school's reputation in forums and specialized sites. Thus, you'll have a clearer view of the quality of education and can make a more informed decision. And look how cool! By choosing a good school, you can learn methods that guarantee your daily and constant evolution. Look for courses that challenge you to step out of your comfort zone, that encourage you to practice English in real situations, and that provide you with constant feedback on your performance. The important thing is to find a learning environment that motivates you to give your best and achieve your goals. And don't forget that learning English is a continuous journey. Even after completing a course, continue practicing the language in your daily life, watching movies and series, reading books and articles, talking to natives, and participating in conversation groups. Thus, you'll keep your English sharp and will always be ready for new opportunities and challenges. And to help you on this journey, I'll tell you a story. Imagine you're looking for a hidden treasure. You have a map, but it's incomplete and full of confusing information. Without an experienced guide and the right tools, you can get lost in the forest and never find the treasure. But if you find a good guide who knows the way and teaches you how to use the appropriate tools, you'll have much more chances of success. The same happens with learning English. A good educational institution is like this experienced guide who helps you tread the right path and achieve your goals. So, my friend, don't hesitate to invest in a good English course. With dedication and persistence, you'll see that learning the language can open doors and provide you with incredible experiences.
Sources of knowledge. To become a true master in this language, it's essential to seek knowledge in various sources and integrate different learning methods. After all, each experience, each tool, and each reflection contribute to your evolution and bring you closer to fluency. And you know what's the best part? This journey can be incredibly enjoyable and enriching. One of the best ways to acquire real knowledge of the language is through practical experience. You know that trip you've always dreamed of taking to an English-speaking country? Or that exchange program that would allow you to live and study in an environment totally immersed in the language? Well, these experiences are invaluable for your learning. By facing real communication situations, you're forced to put into practice everything you've learned and adapt to different accents, cultures, and forms of expression. It's as if English came out of the books and came to life, providing you with a much more meaningful and lasting learning. And don't forget to use online resources to your advantage. The internet is full of tools and digital platforms that can help you in improving your English, such as vocabulary apps, grammar exercise sites, YouTube channels with lessons and tips, podcasts with conversations in English, and much more. The important thing is to find the resources that best fit your profile and provide you with a fun and effective learning. And look how cool! You can create a flexible and dynamic study environment, adapting your schedules and your learning pace to your needs. And don't underestimate the power of reflection in quiet spaces. You know that favorite spot of yours where you feel relaxed and at peace? Well, that place can be your magic park, where you can stimulate valuable insights and new ideas about English. Set aside a few minutes of your day to meditate on what you've learned, to analyze your difficulties, and to draw up new learning strategies. This pause for reflection allows your mind to absorb and reorganize the content learned, providing you with a deeper and more lasting understanding of the language. And to complete this learning journey, don't forget to integrate all these varied methods. Combine practical experience with the use of online resources and with moments of personal reflection. Thus, you'll have a more complete and comprehensive learning, which will allow you to develop all your skills in English in a balanced way. And look how cool! By exploring various sources of knowledge, you prepare to integrate small habits that continuously reinforce learning, opening the door to an effective study routine.
Study routine. Creating an effective study routine is very important to become a master in English. It's essential to dedicate time and attention to learning the language in a consistent and organized way. But how to set up a study routine that works for you? Relax, my friend. I'll give you some valuable tips. First of all, it's important that you divide your study time equally between the different language skills: reading, listening, and speaking. Dedicate at least 30 minutes daily to each of these areas, ensuring a harmonious and consistent evolution in all areas. Start with reading, exploring texts of different genres and difficulty levels. Read books, articles, news, blogs, and everything that interests you. The important thing is to expose yourself to the language constantly and enjoyably. And don't forget the reading for pleasure. Choose books and magazines that interest you and provide you with moments of fun and relaxation. Reading for pleasure promotes knowledge without the feeling of mechanical obligation, making learning more pleasant and natural. And after reading, dedicate time to listening. Listen to music, podcasts, audiobooks, and conversations in English. The important thing is to expose yourself to the spoken language in different accents and rhythms. And don't forget the active listening of natural English. Pay attention to the details of pronunciation, intonation, and vocabulary. Try to identify the words and expressions you already know, and write down the ones you don't know to research later. And to finish, dedicate time to speaking. Practice the pronunciation of the words and phrases you've learned. Record your voice and compare it with that of native speakers. Talk to friends, participate in conversation groups, and try to express yourself in English in all the opportunities you have. And don't forget to speak to improve. Daily practice aloud strengthens confidence and reduces common pronunciation errors. And don't forget to adjust your study routine for greater effectiveness. Experiment with different times, methods, and resources until you find what works best for you. The important thing is to maintain discipline and consistency without losing focus on your goals. And look how cool! By balancing the 3 skills, you create a learning cycle that maximizes your results, preparing the ground to maintain motivation and fluency. Recap. Throughout this video, we explored various strategies to improve your learning, from facing different accents to simplifying communication and creating an effective study routine. And now it's time to recap the main lessons and motivate you to move forward with even more enthusiasm. We remembered the importance of not being afraid of different accents. Each of them is a gateway to new cultures and forms of expression. And we saw that practicing active listening is essential to develop listening comprehension and communicate clearly. And we can't forget the importance of simplifying communication, using short and objective sentences to avoid misunderstandings and feel more confident when speaking. And we saw that the study routine with reading, listening, and speaking is essential to solidify learning and transform English into a natural and enjoyable habit. And don't forget the appreciation of daily practice. Transforming study into a habit generates visible and viral results, propelling you to move forward with even more determination. And each success in real life is an incentive to continue improving the language. Whether it's a conversation with a tourist, a presentation at work, or a movie watched without subtitles, each achievement shows you that your effort is worth it. And we can't forget the importance of self-knowledge. Recognizing your difficulties and strengths is a vital part of the evolution process. Use it to your advantage, seeking activities and resources that help you overcome your challenges and enhance your skills. And remember that the journey of learning English is full of discoveries and victories, encouraging you to face each stage as an opportunity for continuous growth. So, my friend, don't give up on your dreams and continue to dedicate yourself to learning English with passion and enthusiasm. With dedication and persistence, you will achieve fluency and open doors to a world of new opportunities and experiences.
Conclusion. Hey guys, we've reached the end of another video, but the learning journey doesn't stop here, huh? Now, as usual, let's test your ears and your understanding. Get ready for today's secret phrase. Facing accents is cool, but simplifying the. So, got the tip? Write in the comments what you understood and complete the phrase creatively and fun. I want to see your imagination flying. And if you liked this video and want to unravel even more secrets of English, leave that like that helps the channel a lot. And subscribe so you don't miss any Learn English secrets. Keep practicing and exploring the Learn English secrets because learning English doesn't have to be a monster, right? Stay motivated and keep discovering the Learn English secrets by viewing this video or this playlist right here. See you in the next video!